Welcome to the Super Bowl edition of the Gonzo Radio Sports Desk. Hi, how you doing? My name is Big Daddy Gonzo, Richard Saligny. I go by many names, but now today for the Super Bowl special on the Sports Desk, I am Da Gonzo. And seated across from me, matriculating on your field from left to right, resplendent. Of course, now I am in the Dan Marino late 90s throwback.
Yes.
You are sporting some sort of a
Just
Pittsburgh
an overall-
Steelers hoodie.
Yeah, and overall just team perspective.
We are repping the Iron City today.
We are.
Because, and quite frankly, unfortunately, they're not participating in the Super Bowl, but they just, no Big Ben, no Mojo, but that is the Mazz. So you have us, and we are here for you to help navigate you through the miasma that is, yes, miasma. Go ahead, look it up. Google that shit.
I will, because I don't know what the hell it means.
And I've already, we're a minute in, and I've already dropped a curse word. So that's okay. It's NSFW.
Can I say I'm
Super Bowl 54.
I know, it's amazing.
Not
But before we get started about football
Yeah.
stuff, I really like the fact that you put a duh in front of your name. Because now you have a duh, I have a duh. Together, we're a pair of does. And I think it's perfect. I mean, it's genius, totally genius. So
Marketing genius.
we are now the Duh Brothers.
Okay, so I like the Steelers in the Super Bowl.
It's a great call.
So, yeah, of course, we have the Super Bowl 54. Not to say that I'm old, but the Super Bowl and I are the exact same age.
Wow.
Yeah.
That means you saw the very first one.
And that neither of the starting quarterbacks are anywhere near the age of 54.
No, they're not.
We are dealing with two of the predominant prototypical quarterbacks in the NFL today. One would be the super athletic playmaker, run around throwing from 9 different positions, a la Brett Favre, but with better legs, being Patrick Mahomes. And the strong-armed, game-managing, smart play-making, not turning it over a lot, really knows how to hand it off really well.
Yeah, that team's pretty good running the
really
ball.
Real good play-action passer. Knows how to find that number 85 tight end guy.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
And Jimmy Garoppolo, a good-looking son of a bitch. He's good-looking.
Those
Porn
California
star Dayton.
style quarterback right there. Aaron Rodgers, same way.
Yeah,
You know?
except I don't think Aaron Rodgers dated porn stars.
I don't think so. No.
No,
But I mean,
he didn't.
prototypical quarterback types. Pocket
Right.
guys that have strong arms, good presence.
Aaron Rodgers did date some hot girls, though. He really has dated some hot women.
Where are we going with this right now?
It's been a boring weekend. I'm lonely.
That's great.
I'm currently single, ladies. Both of you that are watching this show right now. But welcome everybody. I'm gonna bust some. As a matter of fact, let me crack open the old YouTube feed and say hi to the two people that are probably there right
There's
now.
more coming in.
I know there's more coming in. There's more coming in every day. And once again, let me thank everybody who has come along and joined us for the ride this year. As we've changed our attitude and formatted, if you will. And we're having a really good time with it right now. And crickets.
We would be remiss to not
Absolute cricket fest in
at
here
least
right now.
mention. I know we're going to get into the whole Kobe thing, but the sadness of all that, just to throw it out there. I know it's
Man, okay.
It's been expressed in so many ways, and
Let's relate
the
this
tragedy
as I
and-
scratch my beard thoughtfully. I saw Kobe Bryant play against the Miami Heat in 2012. The LeBron James Big Three 2012 Miami Heat. And he still looked like the best player on the court. And you had easily 5 or 6 guys that really could also end up in the Basketball Hall of Fame. 5 or 6 guys that all have multiple championships. Okay? And he still looked like he could do whatever he wanted, whenever he wanted, with the ball, and there was nothing you could do. The only person that could stop him was him. So, and I relate that quality of player to Michael Jordan, whom I have seen 5 times, including as close as you and I when I had the opportunity to go to the very first Miami Heat playoff game at home. And I got picked out of a crowd. As I'm walking in, lady comes up with a clipboard and says, "Would you like to be in a game on the court?" I'm like, "Hell yeah!"
Yeah.
So I got to sit with one of those stupid battle baton thingies, and we were supposed to do the spin around and then try to dribble a basketball and shoot the basketball thing on one of the timeouts, one of those contests. Watch the guy fall down, watch the fat guy fall down on his face, everybody gets a good laugh. The only problem is the entire first half, nobody called a timeout at all.
Wow.
The heat was up, so they're not going to call a timeout. Okay, so I got to sit underneath the basket, behind the stanchion, okay, ahead of Ahmad Rashad, who was sitting in a chair 10 feet behind me. I'm looking at the stars over here. I'm looking at the superstars here. I've got the Heat. Not the Heat, but the Chicago bench with Phil Jackson and everybody right there.
Wow.
And I'm just yelling. Phil Jackson's like, who the hell is this guy? So
You yelling? Come
yeah.
on. Really?
So I got the Bulls coming at me like this. I got Pippen and Jordan coming at me like this. Bill Cartwright, the size of a house like this, okay? And Kobe Bryant measured up to that kind of a player. I mean, and yes, I even yelled at one time. I said, because Jordan traveled, by the way, traveled a lot. And I said, you know what? I could make at the time $6 million a year, which was nothing. I could make $6 million a year if I could take 3 steps towards the basket.
Everybody travels in today's NBA, though.
I couldn't make $6 a year if I could travel towards the basket. But anyway, I digress. Kobe was that special.
Yeah.
Kobe was that special.
Yeah.
And we're talking about a guy who went through, in the stages of his 20-year career, even before his 20-year career. Let's remember the kid came to the league just barely 17. Okay? The kid was playing against professionals at the age of 17. Okay? And throughout the course of his career, you started off as the wonderkind. Then you got the cocky kid. Then all of a sudden he gets Shaquille O'Neal on his team and a few other supporting stars, and they start winning championships. And then they're like, well, this guy's a douchebag. This guy's an entitled douche. He's great, but he's an entitled douchebag. And he gets a reputation for being a little bit aloof, a little bit too cocky, all this, all that. And he starts fighting with Shaq. And then you get the Mamba. Then he starts getting booed. He starts becoming the bad guy. And then he becomes the Mamba. And all the while, though, okay, the city of L.A. was all of Southern California. Sorry, Clippers fans, both of you. Billy Crystal at the time.
There's 3 now.
No,
one defected from Canada.
Right.
Yeah, they followed Kawhi.
They followed Kawhi. Listen, the Clipper fan base has grown exponentially in the last 10 years.
Yeah, we're just kidding
about
about
Doc Rivers for that.
Yeah.
But Kobe owned Southern California. Kobe owned Las Vegas. Kobe owned New Mexico, Arizona, even with the Phoenix Suns, he still owned them. When the Lakers traveled to Phoenix, you saw more gold jerseys than you saw orange and blue and purple jerseys. Okay, you saw more Lakers fans traveled really well. And Kobe stayed the course, and then he went and got his own 2 championships without Shaq. Okay, which was kind of a redemption. And then the last 4 or 5 years of his career, especially the 2 injury-plagued last seasons, he became a mentor to younger players. He became a role model for younger players. Okay, and you can go ahead and add, and we've seen it ad nauseum now over the last week. Okay, our Super Bowl off week was not about football at all. I have to say, unfortunately, it was about tributes to this great player who went through the progressions of a 20-year career and a life and came out the other side after retiring in 2016 and started moving himself into another direction, winning an Academy Award and winning all of these humanitarian awards and mentoring his young daughter who, God rest her soul, was on her way to probably a fantastic college and WNBA career.
Yeah.
Okay,
For sure.
and everybody's taken extra special care to remember all the other people in the crash that died, and that's fine. That's great respect. I got to hand it to our society, given a lot of respect. Very, very good. With the exception of you few comedians out there who are trying to hack your way in to go, I'm controversial. I'm gonna do the too soon thing. I'm gonna talk about how he raped a room service waitress. Oh. Way to go, Ari Shafir.
I heard it. Saw the story.
The rapist got what he deserved. Like, yeah.
If
love you, Ari. I really do. I do. I love Ari Shafir. I think he is a great comic, but it was a little overreach. Yeah. And
it's very
a couple of years out in the wilderness, buddy.
It's very tough to overstate the whole tragedy. Obviously, Kobe and, like we said, the daughter and other people on board.
Huge impact on women's basketball.
If there's any positive ripple effects from this, at least, and hopefully not just for the short term, but hopefully it carries over. When you see something like this happen to such a public figure, and it's in your living room every night, and it touches you in a way that, unfortunately, these sorts of tragedies do happen. I mean, we just don't hear about them every day, but they exist. They're all around us. At least it gives us a little taste of our own mortality, hopefully. It gives us a little taste of compassion that we don't, obviously express every day in our lives. And if there's any positive side of this, it's that, we've all shed a tear through this tragedy. And it's somebody that, again, these sorts of things happen all the time. But because we're connected, because not just through sports, not just through culture, not just through the humanitarian effects that he had throughout society, and not just in California, but throughout all of women's basketball, nationwide, everything that's been stated. That's something that hopefully we can all kind of hold on to. The fact that, life is not a given, and tomorrow is not a given. So make the most of what you got. And maybe it'll help us put our differences aside. It's just unfortunate that it's tragedy that brings us to the light, unfortunately, sometimes, instead of just being able to, get there on our own. But, however you get there. And hopefully this is just another step that we can hang around that light a little bit longer.
Right. Well, also, traveling outside of sports on a global level, okay, outside of sports, think about how epic this week, the final week of January, in a month of January that has been epic. Back in the middle of January, we started hearing about this coronavirus, and we were like, oh, those silly Chinese, they like to eat crazy animals, they're going to get a little thing. Oh, it's the same way with the Ebola virus. Oh, those crazy Western Africans, they like to eat, wombats and whatever. It's like, no, wombats are in Australia, pal. But
you ever had a wombat before?
No, and I won't. Are you kidding? I'm getting ready to start going more plant-based, not necessarily vegan, but more plant-based. Okay. Even though I had a fantastic steak last night at the Longhorn Steakhouse. Thanks, Longhorn Steakhouse. You guys were really great. 8-ounce sirloin. It was awesome. It was tender. I almost didn't need to use a knife. It was great. And congratulations to our buddy Dano for getting married. He's getting married this Friday. I'm the best man, but then again, I'm the best man all the time. Anyway, back on a global scale. Wow. Yes, this is really good coffee.
Wow. How's that vegetable-based diet going for you? Huh?
I haven't had one piece of meat all morning yet. Blah, blah, blah. But globally, we're dealing with a lot of major news events, along with the Super Bowl. Major news events. You can even say in sports, in other events, you're kicking off tournaments now in like soccer. The Australian Open is just finished yesterday.
Yeah, congratulations to our local kid here that won. The kid from Florida.
Oh, yeah, she did?
Yeah.
Well, actually, she was born in Russia. But
she trained down here. She grew up down here. I understand.
And, of course, then you have the impeachment farce, which has gone... they should be playing the Benny Hill theme to it. Have them all run around, do a time lapse.
Monty Python. Yeah, it's just comical.
Just clown show. Yeah. But that's still a major story. And Kobe dies. That's a major story. It's such an. I mean, just it's almost like the end of January is almost too epic. It's like whoa, slow down. Try to give us like one less.
Well, you know
give us
what?
a little less.
Today could
a little stressful.
Today could provide us one more, because this game, normally these games, they don't go to script. I mean, we talked about it prior to the show.
Never.
You have Super Bowls now that start off with safeties. You have Super Bowls now that start and end with no-brainers that end up being what the hell was Seattle thinking? I mean, it's the Super Bowl. That's why it's the Super Bowl.
Let's go back to a Super Bowl in the 90s. What would that be? That would be Super Bowl 28, 27. The kid from the Washington Redskins that ran for like 250 yards, and he was nobody. He was like second, third string guy.
Things happen.
And everybody expected Doug Williams to light up the Broncos.
Yeah.
And he did a little bit.
Trent Dilfer won a Super Bowl.
Yeah, Trent Dilfer won a Super Bowl.
So
that's how weird it gets.
Great analyst, believe me, the man knows his stuff. He's another one of those film junkies, but I'll say it again. Trent Dilfer won a Super Bowl.
And last year was everybody likes to talk about last year's Super Bowl being an epic defensive battle. I find it to be it was an epic defensive turd. Okay, not just because of the fact that the Patriots won the Super Bowl last year. I mean, you know what? Their dynasty's coming to an end, and we can talk about him like Grandpa now. Grandpa was really good when he played.
Speaking of Patriots, did you see the one, I don't know if it was an ad that Tom had taken out that showed him in a tunnel of the Gillette Stadium?
Oh, just the silhouette?
Yeah, and you couldn't necessarily tell if he was kind of coming into the tunnel or walking out of the tunnel or what. It was brilliant. And again, I don't think you make that sort of a statement in any kind of way unless you intend to leave. Because, I mean, why would you don't have to prove you're staying. I mean, that's something he doesn't have to prove to anything to anyone. So that's sort of a statement on its own. I mean, to me, it's him leaving. It's him.
I think he's told certain people within the organization.
Oh, people know, but not many, because I think Tom's in first.
Well, who's that offensive line coach that just quit? He's been with the organization for like 34 years. He just quit.
I'm going to say two people know on that team,
and I think that offensive line coach guy is one.
I know. I think McDaniel knows and has known for a while,
and that's why he stayed.
And I think that maybe he's close enough to one other player, and it's somebody on the offensive side. Maybe it's Julian Edelman. Maybe it's somebody. Maybe it's one of the offensive linemen. But again, that sort of stuff.
Well, is that the reason why Julian Edelman went nuts and got drunk and jumped up and down on somebody's Mercedes?
Maybe he knew the party was coming to an end. So
party's over, man. Yeah. He's leaving.
But
he's gonna go to Miami, and I'm gonna hate him.
There's no reason to make any sort of a statement unless you're making a statement. Tom doesn't know anything to anyone, so that was his way of subtly bringing some closure to, or at least the beginning of closure to, what's going to be the end of a story. And then a brilliant story that will be talked about for the rest of our lives and more to come.
What was his college number? 7? He was number 7 in
Michigan, yeah.
Michigan, was it 7?
Yeah.
He was number 7. Well, I think we've got number 7 available here in Miami, too. So if he wants to have a couple of retirement seasons, if anything, I just, please, we have the 5th pick in the draft. Just don't pick Tua Tagovailoa Vaiavula Banabuna Hana.
All right, we got time for draft shows, but
you know what that last name means in Samoan?
It means highest completion percentage in college football.
Delicate flower.
Oh, maybe I misread it. Okay. Anyway, we got draft show coming.
Back to the big game.
Yeah. Sorry. I mean, we could. If you've been watching TV, you've seen everything break down this way: offensive ratings and defensive line ratings.
I mean, any TV. If you watch any TV, it's on like the lifestyle
it's 2
channel.
weeks of what we're going to not talk about now, because we're just going to give you about what we feel about what our eyeballs are telling us.
That's all anybody talked about. Is that Kobe died and the Super Bowl's coming. So it's the Kobe death Super Bowl.
Yeah, well,
it's sad but true.
It was a
Kobe death impeachment Super Bowl.
Timing of it all is just unfortunate.
The non-impeachment Super Bowl.
As soon as I walked in the house today, I screamed out Chiefs by 20. You came back with Chiefs by 10.
10.
So you and I are clearly kind of, I think, on the same page here in terms of a direction we think this game may go.
Right.
I think we're somewhat close as to how it may get there, I think. But I just think if you line up, let's just go by position, okay? Start at the quarterback position, the most important part of the field.
Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt.
No, it's okay because I'm seeing it too.
Yeah, well, first of all, let's say hi to Guy Siegel,
Hello, Guy.
a loyal viewer and loyal member of the chat room.
Yes.
And then the T3E LLC that you see is a gentleman who does not have enough courage to show his actual name, put his actual name on the nonsense that he talks in the friction in friction.
Whoa, that's an awkward conversation.
Freudian slip in the chat room.
Rooms, yes.
Yes. But that would be Mr. Tommy Elliott. And the reason why he talks so much smack about Tua in Alabama is because he's from Alabama.
Tommy, I'm on board with you, buddy. I am a Tua guy.
Yeah, take it easy.
Only in the sense that, I mean, again, injury aside, since we're talking about Tua right now.
Right.
Injuries aside, everybody
he wrote his name.
Everybody who talks about this kid talks about how high caliber he is, personality-wise, character-wise, leadership-wise, how accurate of a quarterback he is, the most in football, and how coachable he is. So
I just like to complain.
I mean, if you throw this kid's going to be a franchise quarterback, health aside. But how much stock do you put?
Are we going to see him on a graphic like this wearing a Miami Dolphins uniform? I mean, really, are we going to see him, his left-handed ass in a graphic like this faced off against maybe one of these guys, I mean,
not soon. The Dolphins are a few years away from sniffing the Super Bowl.
A few offensive linemen away, right?
We talked about this too. Dolphins, they've taken the first step. They've got coaching right. They've got some players right. Hopefully they draft well coming in. They got 100 draft picks this year, so hopefully they draft well.
Only 100.
So, I mean, the Dolphins hopefully are finally going to turn the corner, and we'll have some good football down here to watch. Because that's all we get to watch on frickin' Sunday anyway if you don't have the package.
And listen, we're really going to miss the 20 or so Uber drivers and prep cooks and substitute middle school substitute sports or athlete. What do they call it now? Phys ed now? I don't know what they're calling phys ed in school anymore now.
Recess?
Athletics. But those guys are going to be gone, and we appreciate your effort. And those guys were maximum effort guys. They did a really good job. But now these kids are they're going to get draft choiced out. They're going to get blue chipped out. Yeah. So it happens. So anyway,
all right. Eyeball test for the Super Bowl. We know San Francisco can run the football. Okay, that's clear. They're number one in the league in running the football.
Right.
We know that
both teams have averaged 29 points a game.
Okay, well,
both teams.
Let me throw a number at you that I said I was going to make this show about numbers. As of, I think it's 30 starts. Okay, 30 starts in the NFL for quarterbacks.
Right.
Garoppolo is 2 overall in terms of points per game for the team. I think it sits at like maybe 29.3 or 0.4 points in terms of with the minimum of 30 starts. So Garoppolo and his teams, which have been the 49ers, have averaged 29.5 points a game every time he's taken the field. It's a lot of points. Okay, it's a lot of points.
Yeah.
They're known as a running team. We've seen times this year where they've been forced to throw the ball against good defenses. Remember the high-scoring game they had against the Saints a few weeks back. I would not be surprised to see the 49ers come out in this game and at least initially try and throw the football. Would not be surprised at all because, again, Andy Reid's going to be waiting on the defensive side. That defense in the last 8 games or so has not given up a 100-yard rusher.
No.
If you were to tell me right now, matchup-wise, who you're more afraid of defensively stopping the run, would you be more afraid of stopping Derrick Henry and what Tennessee was doing? Or would you be more opposed to setting up against San Francisco and their 3-headed monster attack or their zone run schemes that they do? Well, again, who would you rather line up against? I would be more apt to line up against San Francisco.
Well, first of all, it's probably going to be a 2-headed monster because Tevin Coleman is still probably going to be a game-time decision.
Okay, but I'm talking about just in terms of the read option, too, with Garoppolo and other things, too.
Game-time decision.
If he's anywhere close to playing, he's playing.
Yeah. Just listen, you take a look way back, you take a look at T.O., you take a look at players who famously came off the injured list and said, shoot it up, wrap it up, and I'm getting in.
Yeah. I mean, many injections cover many injuries these days.
To get that ring, to get that, so it's like, what? I got 6 months to heal whatever it is. Break, rip, tear off, whatever.
Okay. So San Francisco's approach, obviously they run the football. That's going to be what you think they're going to do. I just think that they're going to come out and try and establish and throw the football. Maybe throw to set up the run. On the KC side, I mean, you got the best player on the field. So give me. But
how about this one? How about KC comes out and they immediately line up 3 wide, okay, which I think they call it the triple fast. Yeah, I think it's triple fast. A triple fast lineup, 3 wides with Kelsey in the slot, comes out in motion, and they run the ball. Run.
Yeah.
Run.
I just don't think you're going to see things go to script. They typically don't in these sorts of games.
Right.
There's a lot of ad-libbing. There's a lot of coaching changing that's being made during the game.
So you trust Andy Reid to be the better coach?
I just think he's
been
got
there before.
He's got that experience certainly helps, but better playmakers help too. I mean, the speed on that field.
Oh, yeah.
San Francisco runs that base defense, that base zone defense. They run the most zone defenses in football
Because they got 7 savages on the defensive line
that
can
they rotate, they can bring in exactly. Now they can do that because they get pressure. But what does Patrick Mahomes do extremely well against pressure? And that's succeed. He's got the second highest passer rating in football against the blitz.
Yeah, choose your poison. He can make you look like a fool by stepping up in the pocket and rolling out. He can throw it under, over, around you.
If they're not getting to Patrick Mahomes, if you look at the stat lines in the last few games where San Francisco's defense has been effective, obviously they've been getting to the quarterback, 5 sacks, 6 sacks. Right. That doesn't account for pressures and hurries. I mean, they've made it very uncomfortable. In making Patrick Mahomes uncomfortable, you may be making him comfortable. He may be in a position where he's going to be more successful. And if those athletic linebackers on San Francisco's side of the ball can't keep up with guys like Hill and Hardman and Kelsey, who you mentioned 3 wides, wouldn't you be surprised to see if Kelsey lined up alone on the top of your screen when you've got triple set down below and you've got Kelsey lined up one-on-one? Doesn't matter who he eats corners and linebackers alive one-on-one. Doesn't matter size. It's
right. And I'm a big fan of Richard Sherman.
It's
Love
unfair.
using Richard Sherman.
Yeah.
But if I see 25 lined up across from 87, I'm throwing it to 87.
Yeah, I mean you got to pick your poison there. So I don't know. I think in games like this you take the best players, and because the best players make the best plays in the toughest situations.
Okay.
And I've been touting Mahomes for a while. He was like the forgotten man when Lamar Jackson was lighting things up. And I kept pushing. I said, we're forgetting about what we thought was the greatest thing since sliced bread last year, this year.
Right.
Same guy, if not better.
Right, but they had listen, to his, first of all, he missed 3 games?
He was hurt.
He missed 3 games from being hurt.
Which
they
is
had a
with
more
most
balanced
injuries.
offense. They made genuine efforts to have a more balanced offense by bringing in LaShawn McCoy.
From all accounts, most of those sorts of injuries, those kneecap injuries, I mean, they say there wasn't any soft tissue damage, but very few people come back as quickly as he came back, and it didn't look like he lost a step.
There was a little bit of soft tissue damage, but he took 3 weeks, and they took the wise approach to heal it up.
Well, they're saying there's going to be no off-season surgery necessary for him. So it's a rehab thing, it's a rest thing. But again, he's out there, he's playing, he hasn't lost a step. I just think, again, in these situations, you take the best players on the best team, and KC, as good as San Fran's defense has been, I just think KC and the playmakers and the way they'll scheme and Patrick Mahomes is just going to be too much.
Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah. I totally agree. If we match things up and you look at across the board as things match up with these teams, okay, here let's play a little fast money round. Who's going to have a better game, Kittle or Kelsey?
Now, quantitative speaking, in terms of just catches and yards,
yeah, sure.
Obvious, Kelsey,
right? But Kittle is a blocking monster.
He does everything. I mean, and again, if game script is San Francisco's way and they run the ball effectively, it's going to be because of Kittle as well. So in that sense, it's Kittle. But just for the numbers, it's Kelsey.
Okay. At wide receiver, Hill or Sanders?
Oh, it's Hill.
Hill.
No question. More targets, better athlete, faster. And again, how they line Hill up in different positions on the field are going to create situations to his advantage and against the zone defense.
Damian Williams, Raheem Mostert.
I'm going to have to go Mostert, only because of the explosiveness and the fact that he's such a part of that scheme and what they do with the run game. Damian Williams is a guy that's going to catch the football today. He's gotten 6 targets, I think, each of the last 2 games, or 6 in one, 5 in the other.
He's got 8 touchdowns in 3. Is it 8 touchdowns in 3 playoff games?
I'm not sure, but he's got a bunch. He's a huge part of the offense. He keeps the defense honest, and he's a guy that can also catch the ball. I think he has got 14 and 13 carries respectively as well. So he's a 20-touch guy. That is important, but if you want the big play, and if you're going to get the big play, and again, it goes back to San Francisco's game plan, running the football. If they do that and they're successful, Mostert's a huge part of that.
Okay, well, hey, how did my phone end up on your desk?
I don't know, but it talked.
Weird.
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, hand that over here.
Okay.
Okay, your dark horse choice, your dark horse player. My dark horse player is going to be, I have to say, it's got to be Robinson.
Demarcus
Robinson,
Okay.
wide receiver, converted quarterback, converted running back.
Interesting.
Another speed guy. The slowest of the track team. He's only a 4.45 guy. He's got lead shoes.
Yeah, what's wrong with him?
Yeah, what's wrong with that guy? Oh, let's see who's texting me like they have no idea that I'm doing a friggin' sports show on a Sunday morning. Happy Groundhog Day. Thanks, Lisa. I'm so glad that you're such a big fan that you remember that I'm doing a sports show today. But yeah, I see him being the dark horse because you talk about coming out and throwing and getting guys loose over the middle.
Yes.
Okay, and on a slightly less bit, Nicole Hardman, I think, is another kid that can have an explosive time because I think he might take one back on special teams.
One of those Chiefs receivers trying to pick which one goes off is similar to trying to pick which one of the New England Patriots running backs were to go off week after week.
Right.
You know, outside of the consistency of the emergence of Damian Williams and obviously the consistency of Travis Kelce.
Right.
And, you know, is it Hill this week? Is it Watkins this week? Is it
who's your
McCole
dark
Hardman
horse?
this week?
Who's your dark horse?
I like the kicker. I like Harrison Butker.
I
think he kicks 4 field goals
He's the
today.
highest scoring player in the NFL
How about
year.
this? This is a game of field goals.
What's dark about that?
Nobody's predicting this. Nobody's saying that this game's going to be
kick 7 field goals.
He's going to break the record for field goal. No,
listen, they are in Miami. They are in South Florida.
I just think
it
that
is gorgeous outside right now. We're only 20 miles from the stadium.
Yeah, it's beautiful today. They could not have asked for
gorgeous
better
outside. It's
weather.
58 degrees right now, and the sun is coming up, and it's going to get up to a rousing 65 degrees by the time game time. As the sun goes down, and it's going to be gorgeous. Perfect. It's not really windy yet. It's like maybe the wind's blowing like 15, 20 miles an hour, but it's not like a big gusty wind. It's a South Florida breeze. I know the inside of that stadium, unless the wind's blowing 25, 30 miles an hour outside, the wind is really not a factor in that stadium.
Yeah, that's good to know because wind really is the only thing. No, it's just a perfect game for football.
So you're taking the kicker.
Anything. Yeah. Well, again, here's why.
You're a weird kid.
I think KC moves the ball. Okay, but what if they have trouble scoring? San Fran's defense, number one. Okay, I get that, and they may prove it today against a very, very good Kansas City offense. So,
Tommy loves that idea.
Can you see a game script where KC's moving the football? And again, this is a Super Bowl, and they end up on their first 3 of 3. The first 4 drives are field goals. So I'm going with the kicker. That's my.
If that happens, make sure you text me and wake me up, or send somebody over to kick me and kick my chair.
I'll be at work.
Oh yes, you'll be at work, foiling our grand plan to have.
I had guinea food today, which I got to take home. By the way,
you made food.
No, I would have made guinea food today. Today would have been a guinea football.
Food? You act like homemade Italian gravy can last in my
more than a month.
In my house.
That's a good point. So
you think that's actually still here?
A 50-50 chance.
I ate the bowl.
I would have too. That was Mom's.
There was some sauce on it. I didn't even bother to lick the bowl. I just ate it.
That's Mom's good food.
Oh, listen. If my mom hasn't had a horrible head cold for the last couple of weeks, because she just and me too actually the last week. But I would. Mom, can make me some pasta. Forget Jewish penicillin chicken soup. Forget that. Get Mom to make a nice gravy, a nice Sunday gravy.
Yeah.
A little bit of angel hair pasta.
I will tell you this. This is a story that I've reverberated a lot lately about my grandmother. Used to make me drink a beef tea. That's what it was called.
Beef tea, yeah.
Bouillon. Well, she used to just take all this beef and then cook it down and strain it, essentially, so that you would be getting just the juices from the meats. And then put it in these mason jars, these jelly jars, whatever you call them.
Garlic and onion powder.
No. Just straight up with the fat and the stuff floating. Everything was in there. And we used to heat it up. This was no joke. And you used to take a shot glass worth. Well, I used to put a little salt. She used to say, Mateo, put a little salt. So I used to put a little salt. And when I tell you, if I sit here just for a second, I can taste it. Okay, that's how good it was. So much to the fact that I used to get in trouble because I used to get caught sneaking in and taking more than I was allowed to have because apparently you're only allowed to have a shot glass a day. So that's what the guinea prescription allotted for. But I would
You
go
sound
back.
like one of those raccoons in the Geico commercial. You got to taste this. Oh,
Those are
it's
great
beef with
commercials, by the way.
with the white stuff
It
floating
was
on top.
so good.
Chutney, mango, and burnt hair.
Anyway, that jelly jar, that maybe 12-ounce jelly jar, would not last but just a day or two.
15 seconds.
Yeah, and there were, I mean, God knows what else was floating in there, but still, we used to heat it up 15 seconds in the microwave because we just got our first microwave then, and we used to put it in there.
Fancy. You had microwaves.
And then boom, there you go. You drink that with the shot glass, blow on it, make sure it's not too hot, and man, that was for a 10-year-old joy. That was like you were getting like something almost like it was like guinea taboo, but it was so good. Oh, so good. I'm gonna see if Diana will make that for me. Hi, Diana. Hope you're feeling better too.
Well, my Italian grandma used to make kind of the Italian wedding soup, but my hillbilly grandmother, Scotch Irish hillbilly grandmother, she would make a vegetable soup that you had to call it a stew, and there would be chunks of beef and chicken and pork, and I think there was a meatball in there,
and
maybe
anything
some sausage.
Less than a day and a half off the interstate.
And I'm not talking about like Italian sausage. I'm talking like breakfast sausage. Yeah. And you would see her make this thing, and it was like a mad scientist. She would sit there, this huge giant vat of a pot, just like all grandma. Grandma's got this huge 3-gallon monster pot. Okay, all grandmas. It doesn't matter what ethnicity. You got a Hungarian grandma, German grandma, Italian grandma, Jewish grandma. They always got the big pot and they got the big spoon. Okay, and you would see her, and she would sit there, and she would take like cans of like corn, open up the can of corn, not strain off the water. No, just, bleh. Can of green beans, bleh. Can of this, and then here you have some meat, and more meat, and here's a tomato. Let me just cut just slices in the tomato, not cut the tomato up, just hack it up just so the tomato explodes in there. But you know what? After about a half an hour, when it really got to cooking and simmering, and she would go over, and every once in a while she'd put some salt and some pepper in and stir it up, and hour later, some more salt, more pepper, maybe some garlic powder, onion powder, stir it up. And after about 3 or 4 hours, you're coming in asking questions like, "Grandma, when's it done?" "Oh, no, it's been done for a couple of hours now. It's just, we're going to let it cook a little more." I'm like, it became the air freshener for the house. Mm. It's just the way the house was supposed to smell. It was like Grandma's soup. And we have totally gone off track.
That's okay.
From the Super Bowl. It's awesome.
There's nothing better than going into a home that smells like it's been cooked in. Whether it's Italian, whether it's, I don't know, anything, stir fry. When you walk in and you get the smell of good food. Oh, yeah. Oh, it's just amazing. So that's what family and Sundays and football and all this, it all ties in together.
Right. Well, that's about to happen because I've got a pork roast that I'm going to be slow cooking. Nice. A little mojo pork roast, and I'm going to sit my fat ass at home. And I'm going to eat that over some brown rice with some vegetables. Nice. And I'm going to have a good time because I can honestly tell you, with the Super Bowl in town, it is a wasteland of psychotic tourists from the Broward County line south. I mean, oh my God, you people are crazy.
It's to some degree unfortunate, the ones that came down here, let's say just for the weekend. They had some crappy weather for a few days. It was rain and gross and mixed and good and yuck, and they were probably worried about today. I mean, I'm sure they were all being told. Well, no, I'm sure leading up to today, the ones that weren't in the know were probably like, "Oh my gosh, Florida."
We saw them at the club like every day this week. Yeah, it was great though. We had record nights. Yeah, we had record numbers of customers. I mean, the door counts were bananas. So we had a good time with it. I mean, you add an extra 125,000 tourists to an area that's already got a lot of tourists in January, and you're going to get what you get.
A lot of moving parts.
A lot of moving parts.
Literally. Yeah.
The traffic is just atrocious.
Yeah, a lot of moving parts.
All right, so let's check in with because Super Bowl.
Hey, Carl, see you in a week. My buddy Carl's coming down for a week.
Yeah,
well, actually for like 4 days, but in a week.
in a week for 4 days.
Coming down, I think, Monday to Thursday.
What, Carl, you think you're coming on? Is that what it is? You think you're going to come on our show like a big shot?
If he was here on Sunday, he'd be on the show.
Okay.
We'd bring him on.
See, Enrique's in the house. Enrique's like menudo, and I'm not talking about a Latino boy band. Yeah, menudo. Menudo's good stuff, though.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to listen. You got to get a Mexicano abuelita to really, cook the menudo up for you. So
Abuelita.
you got abuelita, abuela.
Oh, abuela.
Little grandma,
Gotcha.
abuela. They also make the best tamales. They make the best tamales. They make the best chile sauce.
Yeah, you're right about the grandma and cooking thing. I think
Yeah.
everybody, no matter where you're from or whatever your backgrounds are, everybody's got a grandma that can just, or at least one point, can just destroy it in the kitchen. So.
Yeah. Salud to the grandma.
Let
Salud.
me get my coffee, please.
Salud.
Salud to all the grandmas out there, for sure.
Oh, man.
Coffee, yum.
Yeah, I know. And people are, guys are like Lisa, sorry for texting during the show. Nah. Text during the show. It's okay. She also used to do that for the Gonzo radio show after she stopped co-hosting.
She gets a pass. She's
just, hey, what's going on? Oh, yeah, you're having the show.
So give me the final score of the game. What do you think is going to happen?
Okay.
Are we both agreeing KC wins flat out? We haven't changed our minds since we both touted KC?
No, I have not touted Casey. I am not only going to give you how I think it's going to go down, which it'll probably go the exact opposite, and I'll look like a friggin' moron by 9 o'clock tonight, but who cares? I'm going to hang it out there anyway.
Stay true to who you are.
And I'm also going to get the itchy-ass tag off of this. Ugh. This is an old jersey, too. I love this thing. This is the 90s Merino, the mid-90s Merino. But, okay, 27-17, Kansas City. You're going to see a similar formula as to what has happened in the previous two playoff games. You're going to see Kansas City trail by a little bit, struggle to find their footing, struggle to find the rhythm a little bit. The Kansas City offense is an intricate machine, okay? And the San Francisco defense is tough. San Fran's defense might have some real good success early, 3 and outs, a sack, something like that. Batted ball. We're talking about batted passes. Might get a batted pass. A lot of talented defensive line. There's 7 defensive linemen, although next year there's probably only going to be 5 because 2 of them are going to sign away as free agents because they made their bones.
Can't keep them all.
But you will see the same formula. You will see San Francisco run the ball, run it successfully, not go against type like you're going to say, but they're going to run the ball successfully in the first half. And in the second half, not so much. And in the second half, before the end of the first half, you'll see KC just suddenly, bing, bang, boom, march down the field. Maybe a big play to Tariq Hill, maybe even a big touchdown pass to Tariq Hill. Okay, a big chunk play at least. And they're going to score a touchdown. And at halftime, you'll see it'll be 10-7, 13-7. Then you're going to come out in the first half, or the second half, and all of a sudden, boom, boom. It's going to be 21. It's going to be 21-13. You're going to be sitting there blinking in the middle of the third quarter, going, "What the hell just happened?" And it's going to be Kansas City is just going to touchdown, and that's what's happened the last 2 playoff games.
Right.
It's what happened the second half of the season. Anytime the other team gets up, they're okay, sure, and they stay calm. They stay calm. They right the ship.
Leadership helps for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Coaching quarterback.
No doubt.
Everybody's on the same.
No doubt.
Same plane.
Zero
right
doubt.
Yeah.
But they're going to stay calm. Look at the Houston game. The Houston game is key. Houston jumped Kansas City early and was crushed 24 points. They were up. They had a 24-point lead. Okay. What did they do? All right. Kick the field goal. Not, go for it on 4th down. You got to get the touchdown. Nope. Field goal. We're good. And then all of a sudden, boom, boom. It's a 7-point game. All of a sudden, boom, boom. 7-point game the other way.
Yeah.
Their
offense is prolific.
It's
no question.
what Kansas City is. I think that by virtue of coaching experience, not to say that Shanahan isn't a fantastic coach, I think he's going to end up being better than his father. And his father's got 2 Super Bowls. Okay? I think he's going to be better than his dad. I think Kyle is awesome. Okay? I think he's got an awesome staff. But I think Andy Reid is awesome. and he's got more experience, and he's got a slightly better staff. I think Eric Bieniemy is a fantastic offensive coordinator that should be a head coach in the very near future.
Yeah, and I think he's asserting himself.
And they have number 15.
Yeah.
The 1-5. Okay, look at this. The 1-5. They have that guy. They have the Brett Favre of this generation. Okay, the Brett Favre with better wheels. The Brett Favre with, God help us, a stronger arm than Brett Favre.
Yeah.
Like a guy who can throw 3/4. There was in the Bleacher Report. There's an article that he wants to try to put a behind the back pass in the playbook. Don't be surprised if he tries one in the Super Bowl, because you know why? The kid's nuts. He knows he can do everything.
Yeah.
He knows it, and he'll do it. Why do you think he throws left-handed? Okay, so, and it's very popular. Okay, and this is another reason why I think that Kansas City is going to be able to control the game or take control of the game and win it. Tyrann Mathieu, the Honey Badger, the all-pro safety. They can't even call him a strong or a weak side safety because he is almost a solo safety.
Yeah.
He freelances. He does what he wants. Why? Because the kid is the quarterback on the defense. He knows where the ball's going. He always knows where the ball's going. He's done this since college, when he was a pothead idiot in college.
Yeah, he's enabled that run defense to gotten so much better.
He takes the pressure off of that defense. Okay, and when and it's funny how for about 3 or 4 weeks he was dealing with an injury previous to week 8, probably about week 4, 5, 6, maybe 4, 5, 6, 7, dealing with an injury. I think he actually missed a game. Okay, but then he got right in week 8, and then suddenly had a 2-interception game, and he suddenly had this game and that game and the other game. And okay, he is integral in every phase of that defense. He is sort of an ultimate safety. I would dare to say he's the best safety in the NFL.
Yeah, he's definitely
by
the top.
far.
He's near the top.
I think he is also he's my candidate to be the MVP.
It's rare to have a defensive guy get it, but it's happened before. I mean, if he gets a pick six or causes havoc, it could happen. You know that we've talked about that run defense being so much better now. In the last 8 weeks, they haven't given up a 100-yard rusher, and he's a big part of that.
Right. Well, he had a great quote, about playing against Derrick Henry. Can't run without them legs. And what did we see over and over, especially 3 of his epic tackles against Derrick Henry? Henry does that feel it around the ends and then trying to find the seam, as he runs off tackle and then cut, and then he likes to plant a foot and get up the field. And he planted a foot, got up the field, and got his legs cut out from underneath him. And who was coming up off the mat while everybody else getting up? And number 32.
Well, that's why I think
Honey Badger don't give a damn.
If you had to, say which of the 2 teams you'd rather face defensively against the run, if it was either going to be Tennessee and Derrick Henry, and it's going to be the San Francisco team with a multitude of running backs, to me, the harder stop was going to be Henry.
Yeah.
Just for the style, the brutality, the physicality, how they've done it,
and their offensive line
against all the teams and the offensive line as well. So. Strength against strength. I'm not saying Kansas City is going to stop San Francisco's run today. I'm not saying that at all. I just think that it's unfortunate that people are picking on Garoppolo or saying he's weak at the position.
I got nothing bad to say about
because
Garoppolo.
He hasn't thrown the football. He can throw the football, and that's why I think today they line up throwing the football to start this football game. Whether it works or not, I guess we'll see. But
he's got a dearth of talented young receivers. He
really
does.
They're okay on that side too. They're not as prolific and they're not as fast and they're not in everybody's living room like Tyreek Hill is and Watkins, but they can catch the football.
Big wide receivers.
The Sanders signing was
huge.
Got
large ones.
And again, what makes those receivers so much better is the fact that they run the football so well. So you're playing them honest, and that obviously is advantage offense. So I don't know. It's a tough game. So what's your final score of the game?
27-17.
27-17. Okay.
Carl wants to know about prop bets.
I've got 2 for him. But
you want to give your prediction first, and then we'll talk about prop bets?
Yep. I'll give my prediction. I too think Kansas City wins. I think a lot of it is what you said.
You said by 20.
Well, that was a little facetious walking in.
I looked at you like, have you been drinking?
Yeah. Oh, you know what, though? I mean, there's a lot of game scripts you can write for this because you've seen Super Bowls go awry. You've looked at matchups and you've thought, well, this team can't win, and then they do, and vice versa. But we both agree, I agree with you, Kansas City wins today. I just think when you have the best player on the field at the most important position on the field, that's a huge advantage. And the coaching we mentioned, Andy Reid, the success to put his team in this position, the defense has come together. Damian Williams has been fantastic. Remember, he was the third guy in the depth charts too.
Right,
coming into the season, he's played fantastic.
They went and got LaShawn McCoy because they had no confidence.
Who, by the way, who is inactive today again, a healthy scratch.
Wow.
Who probably will be dealt next year if he's got whatever's left. But
he's not going to be dealt. He's going to be let go.
Well, let go. But my point is, Bieniemy, as you mentioned, as being one of the important upcoming coach. Kansas City's ready for this football game. My prediction, Kansas City wins. I mentioned the kicker being the MVP, or
he's
not the MVP.
Kick 7 field goals.
I'm going weird score. I'm going 29-24 Kansas City. 29-24. 29-24 Kansas City. Yes.
So you're looking at
4 field goals.
5 field goals.
4 field goals.
4.
And some other stuff.
No. You're looking at 5 field goals.
Well, I said he'd kick 4, so maybe he will kick 5.
And 2 touchdowns.
All right. Or maybe a missed extra point, a safety,
you're reaching hard.
A block punt.
You're reaching
a delay of game.
A delay of game.
A illegal contact. Tuck rule.
Targeting. The
Else?
kicker targeted the guy who blocked the field goal.
Yeah. So something. Tony Romo is going to botch the.
Pete Stoyanovich and there was one other guy that kicked for the Dolphins that was an absolute savage on kickoff returns. And if you manage to get one off and you're going down the sideline, one of those kickers. The Dolphins had savage kickers for the longest time, and Pete Stoyanovich was the only kicker I ever seen in my life that got flagged
for a late hit.
For a late hit, unsportsmanlike conduct, unnecessary roughness.
Awesome.
He just launched his 175-pound frame at this guy and just tagged him like with 2 feet out, and he's being shoved out of bounds. He's already running out of bounds. He's like, nope, you're getting it.
The great part of that is Stoyo probably had to get treatment the entire week in the training room.
Vodka treatment.
Yeah, well, that too. But, yeah. Okay, listen.
Let's go. Brought to you by IHOP.
I just like to see these people with the boxes, which I don't have any this year for some reason.
I don't either.
I just like to see the
guy.
I
got burned last year because last year's Super Bowl sucked. It was boring.
Well, all right. But, the guy that gets like 5-9, and you're like, oh, man, really? 5-9?
You'd be happy to get 5-9
this year and any year. It's like those numbers come out. It's crazy. It's like 3-6. And you're like, what? 36-23? Sure. Boom. Fourth quarter.
Bring the crazy numbers.
Yeah, but this is these games. I'm telling you that they analyze to death, matchups to death. How are they going to line up on offense? What are they going to do on defense? To me, eyeball test. Best players on the field. Better team prepared. KC wins. Goofy, weird stuff happens. It's this type of game.
Also, it's 29-21.
29-24.
24. Okay, so they still cover. Okay, Chiefs still cover. And this is the great American holiday. It is. There should be a tree, and we all wear special clothes, and there should be a hat. You should have like a Super Bowl hat. Okay,
some of us aren't wearing special. I'm not wearing underwear today, just in honor of the Super Bowl.
No underwear?
None.
No commando? Going commando for the Super Bowl? Okay.
Yeah, totally free.
Thanks for sharing.
For my 2 fans out there.
Okay. Well, but another thing that's really unique besides the Super Bowl commercials, which now the Super Bowl commercials are starting to get special before the Super Bowl, besides the Super Bowl commercials, is prop bets. Okay, these prop bets, these proposition bets. Now, for those of you who don't know what a prop bet is, it is the proposition of everything from minutia, like what the coin toss is the outcome of the coin toss, heads or tails.
There are so many.
To who's going to score the first points.
How long the national anthem is.
You want
more? I got so many obscure things in my head that I am hoping none of you partake in because it's just so ridiculous.
There was one, I saw one that was what type of flyover is going to happen before they actually started telling you what the flyover was going to be.
Yeah, will the halftime show stay completely dressed, or will they lose the top? I mean, there's just a whole bunch of things.
Whether it will rain or not during the Super Bowl.
Yeah, it's just weird.
And this was when it was in the Superdome, and they didn't care. They're like, rain or not.
Yeah, well, it was parentheses fire sprinkler system, which is a shot to you, Carl. Yeah, if those happen to kick on at any point during the game, somebody lights a cigarette in the bathroom, and there we go. So
what are some of your favorite prop bets, and what would you?
Okay, let's just talk about the scoring in these games. Typically, they start slow. The first quarter is typically the lowest scoring quarter in all of the quarters in football. I saw the graphic. I didn't keep it, but I wish I did. It was just over 7 points. I think 7.5 points is the average score in the first quarter. Makes sense. It's a feeling out process. Teams aren't going to reveal too much maybe on the first series or two, which, again, I don't understand why. You should be aggressive, but typically this is how this plays out. The second quarter tends to be the highest scoring quarter in any of the games.
Well, sure. That's when the PEDs kick in.
Yes. And then the third quarter takes a little bit of a hit, and then the fourth quarter tends to drag, and you get some extra possessions, and then that's the second highest.
That's when the real crazy crap happens.
So if you can generate quarters by quarters, and I know there's quarter lines out there, just use that as a guide. First quarter, I haven't seen these lines. Typically, they're between, 10, 11, 12 points in the first quarter if the game total is around 50. Under in the first quarter seems like a pretty strong play. But one of my favorite prop bets, and this is something that I've looked up on as well,
is something wild and weird, because I want to go wild and weird.
This is a little better. There's a touchdown prop for the longest touchdown in the game. And I don't know the exact yardage again. I'm sorry. It's either 43.5 or 44.5. That's not the point.
Right.
It's only come in once over the last 6 years. And the one time it came in, it was on a defensive score, was the Brady interception return touchdown.
Oh,
That's
really?
the only time in the last 6 years there's been a touchdown more than 43 or 44.5 yards. The irony of that, too, if you look at a lot of these prop bets, is you have to pay negative juice on almost all of them, no matter what side you take. Okay, that right there is a signal.
Price of admission.
Yeah, it's just if you're going to make the wager, you're going to pay for it as well.
Right.
This was one of the props that I saw that was actually plus. It was even money. And this is earlier in the week. So, again, it was the under in the yardage for touchdowns scored in the game by either team. And that about 3 or 4 days ago, I saw it on one of the tickers on TV. That was even. So you weren't laying anything. If you bet 100, you win 100. And if you bet 100, you lose 100. That's how it goes. So no vig on that. So
laying even is a plus.
So those are my two prop bets. I'm going to go under for the first half for the football game, whatever that total is. It's probably around 20. What's the game? 54?
Yeah.
So it's probably around 26 to 26.5, 27 maybe. It's usually a little less than the total score. And then under in the longest touchdown in the game. Now, that could be a kickoff touchdown too. Special teams doesn't matter. But
touchdown's a touchdown.
Touchdown's a touchdown. So it's under 43, 44.5 yards, whatever it is.
We'll discuss these further after we get off the air.
Yeah. So those are my two.
Okay.
There
you go.
And what do you got?
Me, I'm going to take tails.
You're an idiot. Sorry, go ahead. It's fine.
I'm going to
tails.
I'm going to take.
You're an ass. That's why.
Tails. I'm going to take the national anthem at over 2 minutes. Over to who's it that's singing it again? I don't know. If it's some sort of R&B singer or pop diva,
I don't know.
Then I'm going to say over 2 minutes.
Well, they give you the time. Normally, it's I think last year for some reason 2 minutes and 24 seconds. Is
right. Right. You give me a pop diva or an R&B singer. They're gonna do the home of the brave.
That's not bad. Here's now listen. You're home and you've got that bet. When do you hit your stopwatch to start recording it? Is it when they bop out the first note? Is it when they grab the mic? When do you stop it?
I would have to say from the for the O.
Okay, so you're on. So you're on at O.
Yeah.
And you're off. Well, because people are going to be sweating. And when do you find out when it's been timed officially? The next day? Who's ever bet that? Are you waiting there for your, on your local bookie account, and you're like, oh, did I win? Did I win?
Don't shit on my fun prop, Brett.
I'm just asking. When do you get confirmation on that?
You have to just trust my judgment.
Terrible.
I'm sure a bookmaker will really trust my judgment. If it was 206,
it has to be an official statement. It can't be your own personal guy going, I got it at 2.6, I got it at 2.9. I mean, it's like, what are we doing here?
I would say over under 2 minute, the over under 2 minute deal.
All right, that's fine.
Let's see. The first touchdown scored.
Oh, we should think of that one. That's a good one.
Who's going to score the first touchdown? You mean?
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a really good one.
Okay, then I am going to take Damian Williams.
That's a good one.
On a draw play, but Damian Williams, a rushing touchdown. I'll be even more specific.
Okay.
Damian Williams, rushing touchdown.
I'm going to say, are you finished? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you because I'm excited about this. I'm going Kendrick Bourne.
How about? Oh yeah. You're a big Kendrick Bourne fan. You like that Kendrick Bourne kid.
I'm going to say that after KC gets out to a 6-0 lead, with my 2 field goals halfway there, San Fran takes the lead 7-6 with a Bourne touchdown.
Fancy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like it. Let's see.
The Bourne identity.
I'm going to say yes to a special teams touchdown.
Oh, that's going to hurt my prop bet for the under, unless it's
like it ain't about your prop bets.
Well, maybe like a 12-yard punt return block. That's okay.
Special teams touchdown.
Yeah, they're backed
block
up in
field
the
goal,
end zone.
Punt return for a touchdown.
Got to be under 43
Both teams
yards.
have fabulous returners on both ends.
They got speed.
So if it's just a yes or no, whether there's going to be a special teams touchdown, that's a safe bet.
You know why I think that prop bet I mentioned has that even juice is because people are afraid of the speed of Kansas City. And they're thinking, well, if that's going to come in, it's going to be. I just don't think San Fran's going to let that happen with that zone scheme that they play. They're not going to let things get behind them. That's why I think you're going to see a lot of run after the catch. That's why I think Kelsey's going to be huge today. I don't know. It should be a great game.
Well, there you go. Who's going to score first or score at all? Kittle or Kelsey?
Just between the two.
Between the two of them. Who's going to score a touchdown?
I'm going to say Kelsey.
Okay. I'll agree.
I'm going to say Kelsey. Just because it's more opportunity.
If they both score a touchdown, it's a push.
Yeah, exactly. Just more opportunity for Kelsey. I just think because Kittle is so involved in the run game, and you got to think that if they get in the red zone, they're going to lean on the run.
Well, let me tell you, I think that you're going to see a genuine effort by Kansas City to get Kittle involved in the passing game. Okay, because we're talking about Kelsey. Kittle, San Francisco.
Oh, but you said Casey. Okay, I got you.
San Francisco is going to put forth some genuine effort.
Oh, no question.
For sure.
No question. They have to use him.
I think that's where Matthew comes in. I think that's where the Honey Badger comes in and tries to shut that down.
He's going to have to because I think that San Fran comes out and they're throwing the football. I would not be surprised. As a matter of fact, if there was a prop on that, what's San Francisco's first play going to be, run or pass?
Right.
You would get money on the pass for sure,
right,
because they don't expect that, and they're throwing the ball first down.
That's a good prop bet.
First down.
That's a good prop bet.
If it's out there, yeah.
Play action.
Throwing the ball. Maybe it's Kittle, maybe it's whoever. Doesn't matter. But they are, I would be surprised that Shanahan, knowing what he has in his pocket, which is the run game, is going to feed into the narrative that, yes, this is who we are, and this is what we can do, and we're going to just run the football. I just don't think with his creativity and his mindset, knowing what he has in it, because what he really has in his pocket is a guy like Garoppolo, and at times, down the field, beating the Saints, beating a good defense, scoring a ton of points, putting up 30 points a game as a team.
Sure.
They're not going to be limited to just running the football today.
Well, we are dealing with two coaches who are all scripters. They're all script coaches.
Yeah.
So we're going to see the first quarter is going to go according to script. They're going to establish what their game plan is. All right, well, let's get ready to say bye-bye because I got to go start. I got to go start my crock pot.
Okay, well, listen, let's just put a real.
Demi Lovato. Demi Lovato is going to be give me 2 definitely over 2 minutes on the national anthem.
Yeah.
Fresh out of rehab, Demi. It's my kind of girl.
We want to give a thanks real quick to the football season in general. This is our first football season.
Your boy Carl's telling you to speak into the mic.
This is our first football season completed.
First full season
of us on the show together. And it was a really, really awesome football season. And I think I've learned some stuff. I know next year, if you get time, if anybody gets time, I know I will go back and archive the shows that we did leading up to the draft, and then our own drafts for the season, long leagues and stuff like that, just to see not only where we were right, where we were wrong, but more importantly, what we can change and correct. But yeah, we were champions too. But and that will not change next year. But at least to go through and be better prepared come next football season. I'll have my materials ready. We'll be ready, and excited about that. So
well, the show will get fancier next season. There's first of all, there's going to be a new location and probably a new set design. So it'll be a little fancier next year as well. So
we got baseball, we got basketball coming up next
week.
Get ready.
Pitchers and catchers.
9 days.
9 days.
9 days.
Oh my God, he's losing his mind. Look at the intensity.
I'm getting ready. Books in the mail. I'm getting all my stuff. Amazon getting a call. They're making some deliveries.
Craziness.
Yeah, I've got all my books coming. So.
All right, so make sure you go ahead and you check him out on Instagram at MLBJoyUs. Yeah, guess why? Because he's a MLB joyous dude.
Get ready for a big baseball season this
year.
And
of course, you're gonna see at Matthew Masaracchio on Facebook, at Gonzo Radio Sports Desk on Instagram, at Gonzo Radio Network on Instagram, at Gonzo Radio Network on Twitter, where you can catch the Sports Desk feed. I'm kind of moving away from Facebook because Facebook is boring and useless and becomes more useless every day. So but you can go check us out on there in the group too, because that's pretty much the only thing I do on Facebook now is post Gonzo Radio stuff. Gonzo Radio Network, Gonzo Radio Sports Desk, Gonzo Radio, Gonzo Radio, Gonzo Radio. Because I really don't care to share my personal life with you people no more. So, Matt, anything else you'd like to say? Yeah, we get a little off of your eye there.
Yeah,
sorry.
Thanks for this saliva.
Try not to make it too wet.
Saliva travels.
Any closing comments?
No, I'm going to be ready. We got football.
Okay.
Behind us now almost. Enjoy the game today. Ready to be safe. Safe travels.
Okay.
And
eat well, have fun.
Next week, get ready to talk hoops and baseball.
All right. So on behalf of myself and Mazz, I'm Big Daddy Gonzo, and we will check you guys out next week, 11 a.m., same bat time, same bat channel. We're going to keep it. We're very, very consistent like that. Sorry about the playoff inconsistency. People were a little annoyed with us for doing Saturday shows. But
it's hard. I got, with Bree.
It's not like our viewership.
Her volleyball tournaments and the traveling schedule and some other stuff, family obligations that we do. We do the best we can.
Well, thanks a lot, guys. Thanks, Carl. Thanks to Guy. Thanks, Tommy, for tuning in. And we will see you guys next week.
See ya.